Hello everybody, this is Zoe from No Safer Place. And you guys have all been wanting another Chatty Q A. So I asked if you had any questions over on Twitter and I had quite a few responses. So I couldn't fit them all into one video, but here's a few of them. I just have to find them first. Okay, so the first few are from Julia's Bookcase over on Twitter. What's your favourite reading spot? I don't think I actually have one. I can read pretty much anywhere, but I guess my favourite place to read is probably on that sofa there or in bed. Although I do struggle with reading in bed because, especially if you're reading a hardback, I almost knock myself out with it regularly. She also asked, who are your top 3 favourite authors of all time? This is an easy one for me, and one that if you've been following me for a while, you will probably already know. Will Hill, Samantha Shannon, Cassandra Clare. Miss Anonymous over on Twitter asks, do you have any pets? If not, would you get one and what would you want? Actually, I know what I want and I've wanted this since I was about 12. Possibly younger. I had this life plan that I wrote out that came with one of my diaries for free once, and you had to write down how many children you wanted, if you wanted to be married, what pets you wanted, and since then I have always wanted a black pug called Tink. I don't want to call it Tink anymore, I want to call it Asmodeus, but I still want it to be a black pug. And I did have lots of pets growing up, but obviously since I've left home I don't really classify them as mine anymore. And the dog that I did have, which was a family dog, sadly died shortly after I moved out, and we had him for 15 years, so that was pretty awful. Liv from Twitter, you probably know Liv if you've been following me for a while. She is That Fiction Life on YouTube. What's been your favourite read of the year so far? I haven't really read much, which isn't great, but I'd have to say Savage Island by Bryony Pierce. I'm really loving horror this year. It seems to be the only genre that I can really get into at the moment, and Savage Island is amazing. I did a review of it, which I will leave in the description box below if you want to check it out. It also asks, what's the best book to movie adaptation? Now, I know this is an unpopular opinion, but I really liked the movie adaptation of Everything Everything. I loved the book, but I felt like it lacked something, and when I watched the film I was completely obsessed. I absolutely adored it, and I know not many of you did, but top points from me. And she also asks, how many hours a day do you spend reading? Now, if you'd asked me this last year, I probably would have said between 3 to 4 hours. At the moment, I'm lucky if I read 3 to 4 minutes a day. I had one day last week where I read 2 books in a day, which was great, but I think that's the first time this has happened all year, so I need to get my reading game up, I know that. I think I've only read about 15 books this year, if that. So Ilsa from A Whisper of Ink asks, what is your favourite song right now? That is hard. I have a lot of favourite songs. There are a lot of songs that I like but listen to when I'm in a certain mood. I've just got Carrie Hope Fletcher's new album and I'm really loving What It Means to Be a Friend. It's absolutely fantastic. She just blows it out of the water, and yeah, I'd say that's my favourite song at the moment. She also asked, what's the best thing about having a book box? I think it's just curating it. I mean, it does get a little bit tedious because you feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again, but it really is so much fun, especially choosing books that I love and making products of them. I have kept most of the products I've made because I am just so in love with them. And obviously I put a lot of my favourite books in the boxes because I want it to be a reflection of books that I actually love and want to support. But honestly, there's nothing I can really think of that I don't like about having a book box. It is so much fun. She also asks, when will you be reading Six of Crows? When I get it. Andrew from Twitter at Pewter Wolf asks, what has been your biggest book surprise that you've read this year? I think maybe Lobsters by Tom Ellen and Lucy Iverson. I had never read a book of theirs, but I saw them on a panel at Youk last year, and since then I've been desperate to read one of their books. So when I saw that Steph, one of my blogger friends, was getting rid of Lobsters, I thought this is the perfect opportunity to try one of their books and see if it's for me. I had heard a lot of mixed reviews about their books, but when I read it, I absolutely adored it. I'm not really one for funny contemporary. There are a few series I like, but they're usually girly, rom-com-y, chick lit YA novels. And Lobsters isn't really like that, but I absolutely adored it. It put me out of my comfort zone and was definitely a good surprise. He also asks, is there any books you want to read that are outside your comfort zone? think I pretty much answered that. I'm also going to try reading some poetry this year. I never ever read poetry, but I did enjoy some of the stuff that we did at school, so I'm definitely going to try and read some more this year. He also asks, advice on reading slump / genre specific reading slump. Andrew, I wish I knew, because that is what I'm in at the moment. I do have a video on it, a list of things that I usually do to get out of it, but I don't know what it is about the first half of a year, but I just have no motivation to read whatsoever. Little Miss Curious over on Twitter asks, who's your biggest inspiration? I have a few for different things, so Giovanna Fletcher is probably my inspiration for everything. She is just fantastic. I absolutely love everything that she does. I'm a huge supporter of her, and I have told her that many times. Another one is Carrie Hope Fletcher, G's sister-in-law. Carrie motivates me in ways that I didn't know that I could feel motivated. I saw her recently in concert, and her new album, they have just awakened something in me, and I'm finally ready to do things and motivated again. And finally, my bookish inspiration is of course Will Hill and Cassandra Clare. I adore them both, and their books have just touched me in ways that I cannot even explain. Elizabeth at Close to Pie on Twitter asks, what's your biggest dream in life? An unrealistic dream is to be healthy again. I know that isn't going to happen, but it's one that I hold out hope for, and girl can dream, right? And then realistic dreams, I just want my book business company to keep taking off and keep making people happy, and ultimately that's what I want, people to be enjoying my book box and for me to keep creating it. And the last one I'm going to answer is from Emily Wilson at Emily Rose on Twitter. What's your least favourite book genre? That's really tricky because I can usually find something I like in every genre, but I'd probably say non-fiction. There are a few non-fiction books that I've read that I've enjoyed, but the majority, if I give them a go, I really can't get on with them. I think that's more of a preference for me. Although saying that, when I was growing up, I really loved autobiographies, but I feel like the more I've grown up, the less I want to know about celebrities' lives, and the more I want to know about normal people's lives, or to get lost in a fantasy world. And obviously non-fiction just doesn't do that anymore. Although a non-fiction book I read last year that I really enjoyed was Doing It by Hannah Witten. I just want to talk about Hannah for a second. I only started watching her videos about 4 months ago, possibly a bit longer. She is absolutely amazing. She is 100% my favourite YouTuber at the moment, and the content she puts out is amazing. She's also talking about stoma bags a lot at the moment, which is super interesting to me because my godmum actually has a stoma bag, and it's not really something that I've ever spoke about with her before because I don't know if it's something that people want to keep personal to them. I mean, I guess it's different for everyone, but for Hannah to be talking about that and raising awareness like she does with every other taboo topic, I just think is amazing. So big props to Hannah Witten. And that is all the questions I'm answering for today, because this is already 20 minutes long and I've got to edit it down to a level that you guys will want to continue watching. Let me know if you have any other questions in the comment box below. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. Let me know what you would like to see more of on my channel, and I hope to see you all again soon. Thank you. Bye.